morning. So Gretel has a routine, and it says something like this. Now, I'm from a Buddhist family. I live in a Mormon town and go to a Jewish school, McGillis. My education is based on traditional Jewish values. My dad was really disappointed that didn't have anything to do with making money. So it's a lot funnier when she does it. I swear in spades. She could get you to plot after that line. Obviously, I can't even get you to laugh. So we're going to talk a little bit, and I'm going to show you a film about some of the values in her Jewish education. Okay? Now, here's the game I'd like you to play, and the clip is about 6 minutes. Now, do you remember what you looked like when you were a kid in elementary school? You do? See, I don't. No, geez. So you remember what you looked like. I was, in the first grade I had a crew cut, and I used butch wax on it a little bit, and I had little freckles. By the time I got to be 3rd grade, I was a little bit pudgy. In 4th grade, a little pudgier. So I can just picture myself perfectly. And what I would like you guys to do is to picture yourself. Now, I'd like you to go back in time so that there's yourself and here's you, okay? And I'd like you to listen to this. And if you had to give advice to yourself back then, they're going to talk about some values in education. You might want to pick one of those. But I want you to think about what advice you would give now to your little self, okay? Way back when. Can you do that? You can hang with me on that. There I am. It's Christmas. Is it Christmas? There's Anna with her sisters and their husbands in a bar. Let's see. And there we are having food. Okay.
Do you need help with that?
No. Reasonably confident, not highly confident. There'll be a short introduction and then they'll get into it.
In the fall of 2010, the Board of Trustees launched a comprehensive plan to evaluate the McGillis School's strategic direction. This plan was developed with your input and provides us with a framework for the future.
This plan will guide the work of the Board through 2017.
The McGillis School community is in a really exciting position. The aspirations set forth by our strategic vision excite our imaginations and deepen our commitment to educate children and to instill in them a love of learning, the abilities to think critically, to live ethically, and to appreciate the value of each individual.
Our thinking began by determining the outcome of a McGillis School education. Our graduates will be distinguished by the following essential attributes that will serve as the foundational building blocks for their success and inspiration to change the world. Academic preparation. Prepared to succeed by an extraordinary primary education.
Being prepared doesn't mean knowing everything or knowing what you're going to get into, because you don't. Being prepared means being able to take what comes at you.
Critical thinking. Disciplined in their thinking, yet open-minded, students will be able to gather and assess information from a variety of viewpoints.
When someone tells you something that you don't know if it's true or not, or you don't believe, and you say, you ask why or what or how. You ask questions.
Independence. Students are trained to become individual thinkers, capable of making informed decisions and taking responsibility for the outcomes.
It means to kind of think what you want to think and not worry about what other people think.
Open-minded. Students are taught to embrace the Socratic ideal, to be aware of what they do not know, to set aside biases in order to listen and learn from others.
Have a big mind.
Authenticity. Students are honorable human beings, true to themselves, to each other, and to the world.
Being kind and being true to myself.
Curiosity and creativity. Students are encouraged to explore the world and its people, to examine what is and imagine what could be.
It's kind of, I guess, hard not to look at everything and find out what it's about.
Humility. Only when students recognize the capability and potential of others can they strive to give everyone the opportunity to achieve.
To appreciate my friends and the things they do well.
Perseverance. Students are positioned for success by learning persistence and what it means to prevail over adversity.
It means, like, if you're behind, try your best to catch up.
Empathy. McGillis students are driven to effect change by understanding the human condition and caring for all of humanity.
Empathy is to be able to feel how they're feeling and that you've gone through the experience, and you understand how someone's feeling.
Integrity. An evolved moral framework is the foundation for wisdom, compassion, ethical responsibility, and action.
My dad always tells me that integrity, that you just want to do your best and do good all of the time, and not just do good while someone's looking so you can get credit.
A sense of place and purpose. By understanding their connections to people, place, and ideas, students have the ability to effect change.
My family, my friends, they're the community and I love living here.
Global vision. Students will leave with an understanding of global connectedness. They will embrace the opportunity to teach and learn from others.
All of the school has global vision. We're always donating to different causes, such as the tsunami, Haiti, and I think it's not just, I can't describe a certain person with that. I think it's the whole school.
After identifying the foundational characteristics, we analyzed our strengths, opportunities, and challenges in order to ensure that graduates leave with these essential attributes. Through the process of strategic planning and with input from parents, students, faculty, staff, and other community members, we identified the following institutions.
Okay, so those are a few thoughts. So if you had to go back in time, and you know that there's a commercial, I think, where you see your older self on, you know, you sit next to him on an airplane or something. This time you're sitting next to your younger self. What advice would you give your younger self? Someone? Yes.
You're perfect just the way you are.
Wonderful.
I was.
Except for Andy. So why is that important?
When I was in grade school, well, you know, I'm from Canada, and the school system is very tough up there academically. And so a lot of these scholastic attributes were not similar to what I had. And it was all about A's and B's, and if you got a B, why wasn't it an A? And so to me, it's decisive when all we're dealing with are grades, because then you're pitting one kid against the other. And so you're always feeling less than if you don't get an A. And so, yeah, I think that for me it would be, and I was trying to always be too good, you know, and too perfect, and not being who I really was, you know, and when my younger years, took me a long time to figure out that I can just be who I am.
That's wonderful. I know that I was always taught to give 110%, which works pretty good except for brushing your teeth, right? So I would brush my teeth at 110%. But there's a lot of things in life where giving your 110%, it's not all that helpful. You know, like playing golf. You give 110%, you can't swing. So really what I had to learn was ease. You know, ease and confidence, developing that. Who's next? Mark?
I'd say relax and find the joy in life.
Okay. Why is that?
In my experience, I've been worried too much about what other people have thought, and always kind of been on edge, and, you know, thought that life was supposed to be hard. But like through this practice, I've realized life's not supposed to be hard. It's actually kind of easy, you know, and just to have fun, you know, to kind of just be yourself and let your guard down and have fun.
Marvelous. Marvelous. Someone else? Bob.
This too shall pass.
And why is that important?
Because the box that your peers have you put in, you're not restricted to that. The relationships that you're developing at that time, as hard as they are, it doesn't have to stay that way. As you leave that group and go to another group, you'll see different things, and you'll start to see more of yourself. And it's things that that particular group is not seeing in you. I mean, school could be very tough.
It can be brutal. Yeah.
Brutal. It's not academically brutal. It's academic. It's socially brutal.
That's what I mean. Socially brutal.
Socially brutal. And it shouldn't be that way.
Marvelous. This too will pass. Anna?
Well, everything that everybody else has said so far, those were my answers too, right before you said them. But another thing that comes up is...
Isn't that claiming credit?
Yeah.
She learned that in school.
But another, it's almost like time travel though. I mean, if I were to tell myself, you know, relax and everything will be fine and you're perfect the way you are, which I think people actually did tell me, and you know, this too will pass, which I think people told me those things all the time, but still it was such a, I mean, it was such a struggle. You know, I was the blonde, stringy-haired, you know, kid that kind of had her own path, different from, it seemed, everybody else's, but I think now, you know, reconnecting with friends on Facebook, you realize everybody kind of felt the same, but all the things that made it so difficult actually are part of how I am today. You know what I mean? So it's almost like time travel. If I was to go back and change myself into a smiley, happy, you know, kid, I wouldn't be here today. So it's an interesting question.
So it's almost like all these things you're going through is going to make you pretty fabulous.
Yeah, thank you for saying that.
And married well.
Right.
I claim credit for
But at the same time, what you're saying I feel is absolutely true, but at the same time, what I'm envisioning from these children is maybe they won't have as many struggles. They're getting a good sense, at least my perception is that they're getting a good sense sense of self-esteem and this idea of purpose and whatnot, that they may not have to go through quite as many years of soul searching or struggle or whatever you want to call it, to get to maybe where we are today. So they might be on the fast track to getting where we would hope that all humans would be. Maybe.
Yeah,
we'll see.
maybe. I mean, we really don't know because
Yeah,
we didn't have that experience,
Yeah.
right? My mother's seated by grace. It was really good if you were smart. Wasn't so good if you read back in the class. What would you say to yourself?
It's gonna be okay.
Okay. Why is that? Oh. I think that's maybe one of the most important things. If you could go back and say something to yourself. Larry?
You don't want to know.
His mind wandered where I didn't expect it to go. Well, that too.
Well,
Okay. Yes.
skip here.
Yes.
I had a joyous childhood, except on every occasion where I interfaced with all of you adults.
Interesting.
You fucked up my whole program. You really did. And then, so then I had to unlearn that joy, and then I had to create it and learn it again. And I think there's, you know, I really think that we've got the method askew. And I'm not sure that this advertisement for McGill's really gets to the bigger issue. You know, the bigger issue is I don't know that, you know, it's that incremental, you know, like, okay, our children are doing better than we did, and we're doing better than our parents did, and then, you know, and I don't know that the incremental improvements are going to get us ready for the stars, you know what I mean? It's like for the universe.
So what would you say?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I raised 3 children, and I'd say, you know, be smart, be safe, don't fuck up. And every time they left the house, that's what I told them. And then so far, they've been mostly all 3 of those, you know. But I don't know if you can elevate, you know, how high you can elevate from that.
I mean,
just that you know, you have to make those mistakes. We have to make them in order to learn, and then we can build on that.
How long did it take you to get it back together to where you were happy with your own choices and decisions after you got fucked up by the adults?
Oh, about 88.
88 years?
Yeah.
Oh, 1988.
Well, I'm presuming if I'm
1988, you were like,
if I stay on track.
You know, they say a lot of the older
Another
people
25 years.
are the
I'll
happiest.
be on top of it.
Wesley, how am I doing with time?
You're
You're over.
But it's perfect.
What?
Yeah, that's 15 minutes.
That's 15 minutes? Felt like 15 minutes. So, now, what's to do just the opposite. We're not going to talk about this, but this is sort of the dessert you can take home. Now, I want you to imagine that kid coming to you. What would that kid say to you now? That kid saw you or saw me, what would he come up and say to me?
From the mouth of babes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, who knows? It might be. I know when I walk around with Gretel and Wesley and say, you know, with their bubbly eyes and say, flower, you know, at that gosh, how I've lost that sense of wonder and curiosity.
What comes up for me immediately is I tell myself the very same things that it would be the same things, I think.
Interesting. And maybe it would be exactly, you're perfect just the way you are. Don't worry about what people say.
I would tell myself to go fishing, go play in the field, go run through the sprinkler.
And see, that's one of the magics about
Go sing in the
what a
men's
kid
choir.
know the adult. And sometimes, where Andy was talking about, we have to unbox what we're learned from the adults. You know, sometimes we construct this whole big screen around ourselves, and we view all of life through that screen. Everywhere we turn, you know, we view life through that, our experiences, and sometimes, and it's really hard to sort of peek under. You know, it's a lot easier to see other people's screens. I can tell you, I can see the Tea Party screens, right? I can say, oh my gosh, how can't you see life another way? But, you know, they probably see all my screens too. In the same way. Yeah.
Martha thing came in my mind that she would say, "This sucks."
Oh.
I don't think she had anyone to say that to back then.
Uh-huh.
Interesting. Real interesting.
She put on a good face, or I put on a good face.
Yeah.
But truly, it sucked.
Yeah, and I think sometimes we need to be able to say that now.
Well, you know, back then,
Because
too,
sometimes it sucks now.
that's what was okay. You had to have that good face. It wasn't okay to show your discontentment with it. So it's like, I didn't feel like it was even real, you know, because you were putting on that face for them, and your real face came out when you saw your friends. I mean, or, you know, in your own peer or whatever, even by yourself. But it's like you knew what you had to put on for the people of authority. And you just played that game. So.
You know, maybe it would be me. Don't forget to be me. There was a great story I heard one time, and the whole foundation for the story was the grandmother, as the young kid went to elementary school and went to junior high and went to high school, went to war and came back from war, and every element of the place, the thing the kids said was this, or the grandmother said was, remember who you are. Remember who you are. Don't forget who you are in the midst of life. So,
sometimes who you are is dangerous.
And that's true too.
You couldn't be who you are. That was dangerous.
Yes. Dangerous at those times. That put you in an unsafe place. You know, I get that in spades too.
I tried to be who I was, but I just kept, you know, I got shut out by a lot of my friends because I would just, you know, I wouldn't care what they said. And so I just tried to be who I was, and because of that, you know, I lost, you know, a few friends when I was younger. So.
Interesting. And can today too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe you're more okay with it today than then. I don't know.
Well, the thing that I said to myself before was I wouldn't take anything personally. Not take anything personally, realize that you need to be who you are.
So, this week, as you go through life, remember to have some fun and think about what your child might say to you. Okay? Whatever it is. All blessings. And talk to each other.